Okay, on these types, we're not really gonna we're not just giving you a fraction and tell you to simplify it, okay? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna multiply and divide by fractions, right? Do you remember how to do that? Let's do a quick little review little thing from, I don't know, if I was gonna multiply this together. If it was multiplication, multiplication's a lot easier, I think, don't you, than addition and subtraction with fractions anyway. So what do you do here? First of all, see if anything cancels each other out. See if anything divides from the bottom to the top. Nothing does, right? 4 doesn't go into either one of those. 7 doesn't. 3 doesn't. 5 doesn't. So what do you end up doing? Yeah, just multiplying straight across the top, right? So you multiply and you get this is 15. And what do you get for the bottom? It's 28. And then you're done, aren't you? That's all there is to it. Okay? What if you had something like this, though? What if you had 3/4 times 12 15ths? Okay, let's say you had something like that. Yeah, you could cancel things out, couldn't you? You could either see what goes into 15 and 12, or you could just do it. I'm going to do it like this. 3 goes into 3 once, but 3 goes into 15, what? 5 times. 4 and 12, right? 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 12 3 times. What do you got left? 3/5. Make sense? Okay, you know how to do that. You also know how to do division. We've talked about this before. I don't know why I keep using 3/4. That's okay. What if I said, oops, let's not multiply. Let's divide by 6/5. Okay. What if I had this? It's division. Now we really never do a division problem with fractions, do we? We always take a division problem and turn it into a multiplication problem. So what would I do? 3/4. Instead of divide, what do we do? Remember this? Multiply by the, what's the word? Reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal, which means what do we do with this? Flip it. Good. All right. Now you just turned a division problem into a multiplication problem. So we don't really learn different rules for division, do we? We just change a division into a multiplication and then do the stuff that we normally do with multiplication. Let's see if anything goes. Do I just multiply straight across? No, not yet. I always like to see if anything cancels out. So 3 and 6 go into each other, don't they? So 3 divides into 3 once, 3 divides into 6 twice. Does anything else divide into each other? Nope. So what is that? It's 5/8. Everybody okay with that? That's just a little refresher course. Now, of course, they're not going to be that easy. We're going to deal with variables and exponents and all that good stuff. All right, but it's the same kind of deal, and you know how to multiply by that kind of stuff. So let's do one. So it's 2y squared over 9 times 27 over 8y to the 5th. All right, it's basically the same deal as what we did before. So I always look to see if anything cancels first. You could just multiply straight across if you wanted to, but then you're going to have to simplify after that. I like to simplify right here instead of multiplying first. Okay, simplify everything first, then go ahead and multiply. Let's see, 2 and 8, they go into each other, don't they? So 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 8 4 times. I'll screw out the 8 a little bit better. What about the other numbers? 9 and 27. Yeah, 9 goes into that once, and 9 goes into that 3 times. Good. What about the y's? Remember what we said the very first thing I showed you today? I got a y squared on the top and a y to the 5th on the bottom. This is how I like to think of it. Think of 2 y's up here, right? Cancels with 2 y's down here. How many am I going to have left? 3 of them. You see that? Because I had 5 of them down the bottom, but 2 of them canceled out. So I'm going to be left with 3 of them. Make sense? So that goes like that. Now, it's kind of a mess, but let's see what we got. Everything canceled out here. What do we have left? 3 on the top. What about on the bottom? That's just a 1. So we had 4y cubed. And there it is. That's how you simplify it. It's not too hard, is it? You do another one? Sure, you do. So 3. Now, you're going to have to remember your factoring. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through all the steps on the factoring. I'm just going to write down what they wrote down, right? But you're going to have to know how to factor these. You won't just be able to look at the book and then write down what this stuff is factored. All right, here we go. This is a multiplication problem. Now, if you look at this, do you say, oh, 3m goes into this 3m? Can you do that? No, because this is part of a subtraction problem. This is part of an addition problem, so you can't just cancel that stuff out. So what do you think you're going to do with this mess right here? You're going to factor it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Again, as far as teaching this, you're going to have to go through and know how to do the steps. Remember how we factored this stuff before? You could just put a couple parentheses and just kind of guess and check, or you could do that thing where you say 3 times -8, you know, you go through all that kind of thing. All right, so what's this going to be anyway? This is going to be 3m plus 4, and it's going to be m minus 2. All right, and then we factor the bottom. And the bottom is going to be 3m plus 2, and it's going to be m plus 4. All right, and we're multiplying by 3m plus 2 over 3m plus 4. If it makes it a little easier, you could just put those in parentheses, because that's all being multiplied by this stuff, isn't it? Now, once we did that, look, again, they rig these things, don't they? Because look what happens. I got a 3m plus 4 on the top. Everything's being multiplied here, so I can cancel stuff out now, can't I? Even though you have a plus in here, that's all right. It's in that parentheses. That parentheses is being multiplied. So I got a 3m plus 4 up here. What do I got down here? 3m plus 4. So guess what happens to them? Boom. That's the fun part of this, isn't it? They go. And then the 3m plus 2 cancels out with this and this. Anything else cancel? Does 2 go into 4? Do we do that? No, because it's part of a subtraction and addition problem, so they don't cancel each other out. So the only thing we can do is m minus 2 over m plus 4. So the actual multiplication of these was pretty easy, wasn't it? That was actually the easiest part, because it's just a matter of canceling stuff out. The hardest part about this is to remember how to factor. So the stuff that we learned in the last test, right, that was covered on the last test, you can't forget. You're going to use it again. You're going to be using it a lot. When we first talked about factoring, I think I even said, we're going to be using this stuff a ton. All right, so make sure you keep up with that factoring. You okay with that? All right. There's more examples. We're running out of time. There's more examples. I'm looking at page, if you want to look in your book, page 47. There's several examples of problems that we just didn't quite get to, but you can look at them yourself and you can try those. All right. So let me give you a worksheet, and on the worksheet you're just doing 1 through 9. We'll save the other half for tomorrow. Okay. So 1 through 9 on that worksheet, and that'll be due tomorrow.